Hello, good morning and welcome to the Goddess Fluffy Blanket channel. Yes, I'm aware that our viewership has fallen lately and yes, we're here to discuss today stabbing psychiatric staff. Is it wrong? For years, schizophrenics have been ostracised for stabbing psychiatric nurses. The psychiatrists keep saying it's because they're not taking the medication. And the latest news from God is that the medical profession has been declared as the Antichrist. And the Antichrist, or the psychiatric profession, has God's only son, Jesus, locked up in an asylum, we think somewhere in France. So, given that information, are schizophrenics right to stab psychiatric staff? What do you think, Yemen the Demon?
There's nothing wrong with doctors per se. Of course, other planets have doctors, but nowhere in the universe have doctors been given so much power to force their will upon the populace. And as we say, Jesus himself has been sectioned on a backroad in France. Now, these psychiatrists have been given free rein by the government to do what the hell they want to people. They are advertising quite freely for people's body parts when they die. Now we know once a person's dead, their body parts are no good. So they're hassling relatives while their loved ones are still unconscious to sign the forms to donate their body parts to be used in Frankenstein monster experiments while they're still unconscious before they actually lose the will to live. You know, they convince their relatives that there's no chance of them recovering, and then they slit them open while they're still alive and tear out their hearts to give to their friends. And then, they insist on giving people a post-mortem. People don't want their dead bodies desecrating, but they insist on cutting people open, removing slices of their liver, heart and lungs, and then they throw all of their organs unceremoniously into their stomach and sew them up again. They're disgusting. God hates them. Now, whether to stab them or not, that is a grey area. It's a very grey area whether you should actually stab them. But one thing is certain, something needs doing. Yes, God is very angry indeed at the medical profession. He's declared them as the Antichrist. So I suppose if we're at war with the Antichrist in the Battle of Armageddon, anything goes.
Yes, some interesting points there raised by you, Yemen. Yes, I mean, I personally don't want to donate my organs to be used in Frankenstein experiments when I'm dead. But I know full well that despite the fact I've had this fact written and scribbled all over my case notes, if I do fall unconscious, they'll be hassling my relatives to sign the consent forms and ignoring my will. And yes, a lot of people who are religious don't want a post-mortem, but we are forced into having one by the medical profession. Yes. So, I'm going to ask Rose, my friend, the witch, do you think stabbing psychiatric staff is wrong? Yes. Well, as you and the Yemen quite rightly pointed out, we're at war with the medical profession. They've been declared as the Antichrist by God. Now, I'm calling the Antichrist, or the medical profession, the Power Rangers, because they have all the law on their side. Now, we who are fighting against them are purple Pokemon. Now, the thing about purple Pokemon, most of us aren't very good at housework. So for that reason, I don't think it's a very good idea to stab psychiatric staff. Because how do you get the blood off the carpet? You'll get caught by the police and you'll get put in prison, despite the fact we're at war. And what I think, personally, For example, this psychiatric nurse, I turned her into a frog, and I have another spell, a spine crumbling spell, which puts them in a wheelchair, which I like to use on psychiatric staff. And yes, God said do not kill. So I know schizophrenics very rarely kill psychiatric nurses, they just stab them because they're pissed off with them. But it does make a mess everywhere on the carpet. And unless you're very good at domestic science and you know how to get blood off a carpet with bicarbonate of soda, I wouldn't recommend stabbing nurses. Now, as I said in one of my other videos, I have called on the vampire community to attack the psychiatric staff and suck their blood until they are dead. So, vampires are allowed to kill. They're higher up the food chain than humans. And I don't know. Who will win? Purple Pokemon or the Power Rangers? Of course, psychiatric staff don't think there's anything wrong with killing. They quite happily kill you with antipsychotic. They've invented a drug that kills immortals called antipsychotic. It kills everybody, and they're killing Jesus with it. They're injecting Jesus with antipsychotic. He's lived since ancient times. Now the Romans, they were the Antichrist. They tried to kill Jesus, and what happened to them? Well, the Roman army have disappeared now. Nobody's heard of them for years, have they? So, is it right to stab for schizophrenics to stab psychiatric staff? Well, there's nothing wrong with it per se, but personally I wouldn't recommend it, because, you know, people think bad of you when you stab people, especially if you leave blood marks on the carpet. So I would recommend finding other ways to fight the war of Armageddon, personally. Yes, well, yes, it is, per se, it is wrong to kill, but God has said that killing in self-defense is okay, and as these doctors are trying to kill everybody, it's okay to kill. But as you said, it's how to get the blood off the carpet and how to dispose of the bodies. You know, how does one dispose of a body? How do you get the blood off the carpet? I'm thinking this all the time when the psychiatric nurses are in my house. Thinking, well, I feel like strangling them, but if I do, how am I going to get rid of the dead body? Yes. So I think you're right, killing is wrong. I think we should leave it to the witches and the warlocks and the vampires to fight this battle for us. And if you are a schizophrenic and you stab someone and you've ended up on a secure back ward for the rest of your life because you poked a nurse in the eye or something, well, let's hope we get help soon. Like from Jeremy's example.
Yes, God has been enlisting help with this problem from all over the universe. As he says, Earth is now developing space-age technology or whatever, and do we want these doctors flying all over the universe, killing immortals with their antipsychotics and forcing their treatments on people? And he did actually threaten to collapse the universe unless we came to help to join the battle. So,
yeah, sorry Jeremy, I'm going to have to interrupt you there. That's all we've got time for. So, is it wrong for schizophrenics to stab psychiatric staff? What do you think, people? Bye from the Goddess Fluffy Blanket channel.